Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining me. Welcome to a Nonprofit Nugget with Dr. Deborah. I am Dr. Deborah Dunston, nonprofit strategist and funding coach, an award winning fundraiser. And today on a Nonprofit Nugget, I will be giving you a little something to chew on. Just a little something to chew on, something that I hope will help you as you run your nonprofit or maybe even decide that you want to launch a nonprofit. So, as you know, those of you who do tune in for this show, you know that I use this show as a platform to actually answer some of the questions that I get from some of my viewers, some of my clients, and even from those who just see me in a group. Okay, okay, Mr. Cook. Great, great. Thank you for joining. Hi, Tara. Hi, Tara. Tara is a client of mine already, and we had a quick session today. Hello, Facebook user who said, hello, coach. Glad to see you here. Thank you for joining. And I got a lot of questions this week. I got a lot of questions from groups, from people inboxing me, from people even texting me, and even from some of my clients who I actually talked to. I got a lot of questions and I had to pick. So I'm glad to see that. Oh, Jacqueline, thank you for joining live from Arizona. Thank you. Reaching our way to Arizona. Have a client our way in Arizona, have clients in New Jersey, New York. So I'm so excited because when I see work happening all around the United States and even have a client actually overseas, so around the world, it just does my heart good. It does my heart good. I feel that I was called to do this to equip others for doing the work. Not only doing the work myself, but equipping others to do the great work that they do. I love it. I love it. And so, with all the questions that I had, I decided to pick what are the top revenue streams. So, I'm going to try to do them in order. Hi, Coach Sharita. So great to hear from you. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. I had a great session with Coach Sharita. You guys ought to reach out to her too. Coach Sharita, you can put your information there if you'd like. But I decided to use this question because people are working on some new nonprofits who launched this year. They're working on their budgets. So, you know, in your budget, you have your expense and you have your revenue. And a lot of people have asked, well, how do you know I don't have revenue? So how do I know what my revenue is going to be? First, I'd like to say when you write your revenue plan or your funding plan to actually include in your budget, you do that on a projected basis. But I'd like to give you some parameters here to kind of work that around. So one of the things I like to tell my clients when they start a nonprofit is that you should always have a diverse revenue plan. Always have a diverse revenue plan because no funder wants to be your knight in shining armor. You know, I've worked on both sides of the coin. I've worked as the person looking for the money, the development director, but I've also worked on the side of the grant director where I actually was the person who actually gave out the grants. So I worked on both sides of the coin in the nonprofit arena, did over 37 plus years in the field. So as a funder, I'm going to be speaking with you mostly as a funder. I tell people all the time, I'm giving away the funder secret. Don't tell nobody. I'm giving away all the funder secrets to my clients and to you. But one of the things, funders do not want to be your knight in shining armor. They want to see you that you have the ability to go find funding, just like you would anybody else who you support. And so, and plus, I don't think you don't want to be so heavily dependent on one source that you're like indebted, you're like in shackles to them, because you don't always want them to be put in the position of bailing your organization out all the time. And also, you want to keep that flexibility for your organization. So you don't want to depend so highly on one area. A diverse revenue plan helps you to prevent that. So, what are some of the top revenue streams for a nonprofit? Now, as I go through these, please realize that all nonprofits are different. So, you may not have the same revenue plan, you may not have the same budget, but there is data to show where most of the funding for nonprofits come from. And you might just be a little surprised to find out where it does. So let's start. Let me see. I'm going to list federal grants first here, only because I usually don't even list federal grants, especially when I'm talking about local or regional. But I'm going to list it because they are listed as the top funder. But please understand that the only reason that federal government is listed first is because they are the main funders for, thank you. They are the main funders for hospitals, universities, places like that. So they do give out the most. You can imagine how much funding a hospital takes. So that's why they're kind of listed first in a lot of the lists. But however, if you are a local nonprofit with local reach, it can be difficult to pull federal funding. Maybe not impossible. I won't say impossible, but it can definitely be difficult. But what I have seen, though, is I've seen collaborations pull federal dollars. And when you get into federal dollars, those are big dollars in the millions sometimes. But I have seen collaborations, like when a lot of smaller nonprofits get together and form a collaboration to address a situation that's happening maybe regionally, you can pull federal dollars to make that happen. And then the money would be dispersed among the nonprofits who are involved. Like somebody may bring the feeding, somebody may bring the housing, somebody may bring this, but that's a collaborative effort, and it makes it easier to pull federal dollars. So I will say that. The next one is fees for service or product. Yay, fees for service or products. People are surprised when this is put on the list, because if they figure, if you're a nonprofit, what are you doing making a profit? Well, a nonprofit should have an earned revenue fee for service or product line. This can be that you're selling t-shirts, you're selling bracelets, anything that you're selling is considered a product sold. Or a fee for service would be like someone who maybe have a transitional home, but the people that stay there, although they pay low cost for their room, they do pay to stay there. You see what I'm saying? That's a fee for service. Or maybe somebody like myself, Healing and Empowerment Ministry, I offer sliding scale as a pastoral psychotherapist. I offer sliding scale healing and deliverance trauma support. So that would be my fee for service line. So you can do a fee for service line. You can, but did you know, I just found out, I looked up the latest statistics that for many nonprofits, about 48% of the total revenue for smaller nonprofit organizations was fee for service or products. I did not know that, because you can have a nonprofit who is a beauty school and they make their money by doing low cost hair. You know, people can come there, get their things done at a low cost, while also the people who the clients that's being served there actually are the constituents, the target audience. They're learning to start a business. So they would be a beauty school. You see what I'm saying? So fee for service can be a large portion of your organization's revenue plan or funding plan. Next, number 3 is individual donations. Individuals donations. Now, I know a lot of people may have thought, and I did too at first, that during COVID that people have slowed down on their giving, but that did not happen. In fact, in 2021, the overall charitable giving in the United States increased by 8.9% on a year-over-year basis. You get that? And plus, donor dollars are the dollars that you can control. There are many ways to raise donor dollars. Many ways. I can't even think of the ways. I'm going to have to do a segment, probably a whole class on just raising donor dollars. All the different ways you can raise donor dollars, individual donations. But it is the largest piece, when you don't include fee for service, is the largest piece of an organization's budget. Because it's the easiest to control, because there's so many different ways to raise donor dollars. In fact, I'm gonna make a note for myself. I actually want to teach a class on that, on raising donor dollars. So excuse me, you guys, I just need you to write myself a little note. I want to write up a class on that, because that kind of is one of the things that I actually won awards for. for raising the most money with just donor dollars. No major gifts, just medium to small donors actually. Raised $29.5 million with just small to medium donors. I love raising money with donors. And besides, as we say, it's one of the biggest areas for giving. It's charitable giving, especially here in the States. Number 4 is buy events. Gosh, so many events out there you could have. I was just looking up some events that I'm going to have for my nonprofit. You can do, man, all kind of events. I can't even start listing them. I'll be here all day. You can, and there's various ways besides having many type of events that you can do. You can also have, excuse me, you guys, you can also have various ways that you can raise money during your event. Also, you can charge fees to come to the event. You can sell products. You can have a raffle. You can have an auction. You can even collect donations at your event. Just have a bucket out there. I've done that before. And I have a client that actually raised about $50,000 at an event that wasn't even a fundraiser. They were just serving the community. Just serving the community out there, serving the community, and people start giving through Cash App. People start just giving because they see you out there doing work. So different types of events, different types of ways to raise money through events. But one of the greatest ways that I tell people, you can charge a fee, but I don't really look for fees to be your major way of raising funds. You can, but I'm saying one of the best ways to raise funds during your event is through number 5, corporate funding. Corporations can give to your organizations in many ways, and one of the big ways that they give is through event sponsorship. They sponsor the event. It's kind of like a marketing. They put that in their marketing budget. They give their name out there for being connected with your nonprofit, and you are getting the funding so that you can do the great work that you do out in the community. So sponsorships, having your event sponsors, vend tables, things like that. Those are sponsored events. When you have a business purchase a table and pay you to be at your event, to have signage at your event, you can raise money that way too. So corporate funders also give out they also give grants too. There are a lot of them that give grants. They do in kind. There's so many different ways that you can raise money from corporations. Cause marketing. I may teach a class on cause marketing, CAUSE. Cause marketing is when a for-profit business actually raises money on behalf of a nonprofit business. Like you say, a portion of every sale you do today goes to this. Or if you've been in the grocery store and the grocery store says, would you like to donate $1 to whatever organization it is? That's cause marketing. So they're raising money for a cause. That gives the corporate organization, business, whatever you want to call it, that gives them a way to give back in the community. But it also raises money for the nonprofit and for the great work that you do. Number 6 is grants. Now, you would have thought that was number 1. That's what people look for most. As soon as they get their nonprofit, I got to go get a grant. I got to go find a grant. Is there a grant? Is there a grant? Grant is actually not considered the top way to get your nonprofit funded, believe it or not. They can come from government, private foundations, or like I said, corporations. But research says that a healthy nonprofit revenue plan should consider grants to be about 12 to 15%, and even lower if you can get it there, but 12 to 15% of your revenue budget. Of course, there are nonprofits that are totally supported by grants, and that's good. But like I said, nonprofits are different. I even know some nonprofits who was sought out by a grant maker because they were out there doing great work. The funder saw them. I always say, let them find you doing the work. I always say that. In those kind of cases, then your job as a nonprofit founder, leader, or even if you're just a person who raises the funds, is to be funding ready. And that's what I help people to do, to be funding ready. Because the worst thing to do is to have a funder come to you ready to give you money, right? but you ain't funding ready. You can't receive the money, because as a funder myself, when I sat in that seat for those years that I sat in those seats, the problem that I found is that a lot of the great nonprofits that I wanted to support, having all this money in my hands, not my physical hands, but in my hands, that I wanted to support, were just not funding ready. They were not set up to receive funding. There are things that we go through as funders when we list to see if you are funding ready. And that's my term, funding ready. But if you're eligible, that's what we call it. If you're eligible to receive the funding. So when somebody seeks you out for a grant, you should be funding ready. Number 7 is membership fees. Membership fees, yeah. You can come up with a membership program and you can charge a fee for other professionals or organizations or leaders or even businesses to belong to. There's a nonprofit I know that is a business resource center, and that nonprofit has a membership program. So that is a way to bring in revenue for their nonprofit. And since they're a business resource center, there are people who may not donate, but they would love to be a member so they can get access to these great business ideas. That's what my coach, that's the Business 911. Business 911 is a nonprofit here in Charlotte, North Carolina, founded by Shay Morton, one of my business coaches. And she actually has a nonprofit, and she has a membership program that you can join, and you pay a monthly fee and you get access to certain things. I am busy right now building a membership program. I already have the program, but I'm going to make it into a membership program, the Community Outreach Empowerment Program, which is a part of my nonprofit, Healing and Empowerment Ministries. And it's going to be a membership program for churches and faith-based initiatives. And so I will partner my nonprofit with my for-profit, and we'll offer services to faith-based initiatives and churches so that they can start nonprofits or have their outreach funded. Hello, Arthur Lynette. Thank you for joining. So you can start a membership program. If you have some type of specialty that your nonprofit offers, and you can market a membership program to the public. 8, and the last one I'm going to do today is in-kind donations. People overlook in-kind donation. Thank you for the hearts. People overlook in-kind donations, or maybe it's that they don't know what it means, because we mostly just call in-kind donations volunteering. In-kind donations, you can almost run a whole program off of in-kind donations. Think about it. In-kind donation include things like food. When people just give you food, they don't give you money, but they give you food, donate food, they donate clothing, they donate books, they donate medicine, they donate, just think of all of the different toiletries. You can run a whole toiletry. Oh, Tara said her first year was all in-kind donations. Right. You can actually start. That's what I tell nonprofits. Be found doing the work. You can do the work off of in-kind donations. That's how I started, Tara, because I was working in the field. I was under a non-compete agreement, so conflict of interest. So I couldn't raise funds through grant writing, but I could. I did my whole few years off of in-kind donations. People donated food and I distributed food. People donated clothing. I distributed clothing. So yes, you're right, Tara. Her first year, I like that. That's some grassroots stuff right there. That's some grassroots stuff. Also, another way you can do an in-kind donation, it don't have to be actual physical items. In-kind donation can also be someone doing something for your organization that they're a professional at. So it's a little bit different than just volunteering. Things like delivering a speech or a workshop on something that they're a professional at. Doing what they do in business, but coming to do it with you for free. It may not be ongoing like a volunteer, but you may be having a workshop on, heck, let's use Brian K. McNeil, the sales confidence coach. If he came and gave a sales speech for your nonprofit, but did not charge you for it, you could still charge for that event or offer it for free, but you would make money just by his in-kind donation. You see what I mean? And there should be a line in your budget for in-kind donations. There should be a line in your budget. You can you can get, like I said, speakers. You can get somebody to build your website at no cost. That's in-kind donation. Provide legal services. You can get a lawyer that provide legal services. That's in-kind donations. You can get mental health services, retired counselors who still want to keep their licensing alive, but you don't pay them. They don't need you to pay them. Or somebody who has a private practice and they come over and do something. You can do that. You can get your taxes done in kind if you know an accountant. You can have somebody do your books if you know a bookkeeper who's in business. You can have landscaping done if you have a building. Construction. Habitat for Humanities. You can have somebody, an actual licensed contractor, is that what they call? But you can have them even build something for you, in-kind donation. They may not give you money out of their pocket, but just their service. And when you give them a donor letter to thank them for their service in their tax letter, you would give them the going rate for what they offered you. You see what I'm saying? That's an in-kind donation. So as long as it's what they do professionally, you can include it in your income, in-kind revenue line on your budget. And I'm sure there are many other ways to bring in funding to your organization, but I wanted to give you some that you could include on your funding or your revenue plan. I'm meeting with somebody this afternoon as we write up their revenue plan and maybe even their expense plan. I'm not sure about that, but I know we will be working on the revenue plan because we're doing their budget. And you do all this. You write your revenue plan just so you can be assured that your organization or the great work that you're doing in the community will not be a fly-by-night program. People start depending on it. You know, there are people out there who depend on you. And one nonprofit can't do it all. So we depend on all of us to get out there and do the good work that we do. So we have to build a revenue plan that is sustainable and that can support us for the long haul. Not depending on one leg. You got 4 legs, you can't depend on one leg. Even 3 legs, you can stand up. But when you put 2 legs, it probably will fall over. So you want to do that. All right, Tara, you want to meet with me for a revenue plan? That's great. We can do that. Investments with purpose. Investment with purpose. Tara focuses on homelessness, home ownership in a community, though. It's a great project, great program. I can't wait till she gets started. But the thing is that I like about Tara is that she actually have started the work in what she can do in her capacity right now. Don't wait to start the work. Do the work you can do right now, serving the community that you want to serve. And then write out a revenue plan and how you're going to raise your dollars and go do that. Just like Tara's going to meet with me, if you would like to speak with me about your nonprofit and your revenue plan, your funding plan, you can contact me right here on Facebook. Slip into my DMs. Got that from my son. But you can contact me right here, or you can email me at DrDebra at DrDebraNonprofitSolutions.com. And I will be happy to talk with you. Also, you can call and leave a message. Even if I'm not able to answer right then, I may be with a client. You can leave me a message at 240-392-5838. You can text me at the same number, 240-392-5838. I would love to hear more about your vision and the great work that you're doing in the community. This has been a Nonprofit Nugget with Dr. Deborah. And I was just giving you a little something to chew on. You have a great day.